this video, I'm going to be breaking down 5 fingerpicking patterns from Weezer's self-titled debut album, also known as the Blue Album. In addition to demonstrating them, I'm also just going to share some practice tips that will help you develop your fingerstyle chops if it's something that's new to you. And in addition, if you want to read along and practice on your own, there's free tablature and notation available in the description for you to download. So let's get started with the first pattern. The first song on the album and the first song that we're going to look at is called My Name is Jonas. There are 3 chords. It is a C chord. It is a G chord with a B in the bass and an A minor chord. Then the G chord repeats. And the thing to understand about this song is the rhythm. So there's basically, you can think of it in either 12/8 or 6/8. And if you don't know what that means, it really doesn't matter. But the thing to realize is that there are basically 2 strong beats per measure. So like 1, 2, 1, 2. Each one of those strong beats is split up into triplets. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Or 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Then the fingerpicking pattern plays at twice the speed of that. So each beat, there are 6 notes. And I think the easiest way to count this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first thing I would recommend getting down is the thumb pattern, so the bass movement. And basically what you have is a C, E, relative to the C major chord, B, D, there's our G chord, A, E, there's our A minor. And these happen in counts 1 and 4 in that group of 6. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the finger picking part, basically, you're just filling in the other notes with these 2 fingers. Most of the finger picking patterns on this album, you can get by with just these 3 fingers. So the pattern here is after you play the thumb, you play your middle finger, then your index finger. So like this. And make sure you can see the guitar. And your index and your middle finger are positioned on the B string and the G string. So B and G. So we'd have this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, you may have noticed that there's one thing missing, and that is in the G chord, you're going to move these 2 fingers up 1 string on beats 5 and 6, or counts 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the idea is that you're just grabbing this open E and open B with your middle and index. So all together, slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to tempo. The next song is called The World Has Turned. This is in the key of G, and the chords are G major, D, kind of, you can think of it as an add 11, but we'll talk about that later. Once again, a G over B, and then C major 7th on the finger picking pattern, so I'll break all of that down. It has a tricky rhythm. Once again, if I play it again, kind of this rolling, syncopated feel to it. So the first thing I would recommend is maybe even just trying just to get the rhythm. So if you play kind of borrowing from drumming, just alternating patterns. So we're thinking like kind of 16th notes, 1 E into 2 E into 3 E into 4 E, and just try and tap out the accents. So that would sound like this. Just something like that, just to internalize that rhythm. Then, as with all of these, I'm going to recommend starting with the thumb. So one thing that you can do is just to get used to your thumb playing the role of the bass in the arrangement is just playing kind of muted notes and just getting used to that, getting a nice thump out of your thumb. And so this is kind of the movement of the bass. And if you think 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, that'll give you the basic structure. It's groups of 3, 3, and 2, which adds up to an even 8. Now, to add in the remaining notes, whereas My Name is Jonas, we played thumb, middle, index, this song we're going to play for the beginning. This is thumb, index, middle, and these are on the open G and the open B. Now, when we get to the D, we have this. There's this half-step rub. This is really kind of what makes this pattern beautiful to me. You have the D natural, the third of the chord, which is an F sharp, but then now you have the fourth coexisting alongside that third. And then this would be called an add 11 chord, or I would call it an add 11 chord anyway. So we have, if I play up to that point, what I did there was I moved these two fingers down 2 strings so I can have, so I can grab that open G string. Then now I move it back up to the open B and G, but now I reverse the pattern. So to sum that up, it's thumb, index, middle, index. Same here, but I move down 2 strings. Now, middle, index, and that's it. And then there's a space there. And now, actually, so, yeah, okay. And then the thumb comes in on the downbeat of the next bar, or next beat, and that's on the bass note of B for the G chord. And then this is the same finger pattern, except when I get to the G over B, I have my fingers on my index and middle on the open G and the open D and the open G. And that's the same, I'm just moving up to this C major chord. And then now here, I do that reverse pattern again, and I move it to the B and G string. So all together. Now, the interesting thing about this is on the outro, and actually on the intro, it's played on an electric guitar, I think. No. It's played with actually, I think it's played with a pick. And honestly, like, the finger picking to me is easier. I've tried to play with a pick, and it's I don't play it really well. So, but on the outro, they reverse the pattern, so it's this. Instead of this, they play. And that's in the tablature. You can check that out. But that's basically the idea with it. And then the last thing is on the outro. This hammer-on pull-off. So that's like very fingerstyle language that is really great to get with this song. The next song is called Undone, also known as the sweater song. The pattern itself is a lot easier to play than the last 2 songs that we've looked at, but the chords themselves are actually pretty interesting. So before we look at those, I'll just note that this pattern on the intro is played with an electric guitar, likely with a pick, but then on the outro, they play it with an acoustic guitar, also probably with a pick, but I find that the pattern fits really well with the fingerstyle guitar, so that's why we're looking at it. Here's the first chord. So before I talk about like what this chord is, let's just look at how to play it. If you know a C7 chord, so I just have a C, an E, and a B flat. A C dominant 7th chord, which basically is a C major 7th chord with the with the 7th flattened. To play this chord, all we're going to do is move the lowest note, which is a C, down 1 string to the note G. That's also down a 4th. And we're also going to include this open B. That's the chord. So I kind of think the easy way to think about this is as a sharp 9 chord, basically. You can get more complicated than that, but a sharp 9 chord, if you've ever heard the song Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix, that sound. That's what a lot of people associate with the sharp 9. So basically, the sharp 9, another way to think about it would be like if you had a G major, G and B natural, and a G minor at the same time, G and B flat, that kind of gives you that sharp 9 sound. And then we're just adding in this E. That's as deep as we need to go for our purposes now. Now the pattern is it's just straight ascending. Thumb, index, middle, and then I use my pinky, but that's a me thing. Most people are going to use their ring finger. So, and then that's the same pattern for all these other chords. The next chord is just, we already looked at it, it's that C7 shape, but it has the B natural in it, which is really interesting. And so I think of it just as a C7 because, to me, that's still the dominant sound, or the strongest sound, is this relationship between the C and the B flat. And then the next chord, all we're doing is just moving that same shape up 2 frets, starting on a D. And then now what we have here is a kind of like a D13, because there's our D7, but we're adding in a B natural, which is the 6th scale degree of the D major scale, but in chord terminology, you would raise that up an octave, so add 7 to it. And then that would be 13. So it's a lot of numbers and stuff like that, but just know that it's more complicated, intellectually than it is to play. So if I play the full thing, slide up, slide down, drop to a G, up to a C, slide up, slide down, and the pattern is just ascending on every chord. The next song is called Surf Wax America. This is another one that they play with an electric on the album, but I find that it fits really nicely on the acoustic finger picking. So let's take a look at the chords. Very easy. Once again, in the key of G, the chords are D, C, G. That's pretty much it. The only thing to note, or what's going to help you kind of get a handle on this, is if you know the open C position on the guitar, chord position, what they're doing is they're kind of using that voicing or shape here on the 5th fret on a D. So it's basically an open C chord, but moved up a whole step to D. That's going to give you an idea of kind of how this goes. Once again, it's useful to kind of figure out the thumb pattern first. So that would sound like this. And the interesting thing about this is the thumb is not playing the root of the chord on the until you get to the G. It's starting on an F sharp, which is a 3rd of the D chord. And then it plays a D into an E, which is the 3rd of the C chord. Then, C down to a B and then down to G. So it's kind of walking down. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just practicing that is a really good exercise. Then, how we add in the rest is we're just taking, kind of similar to My Name is Jonas, it's this inverted pattern, so we're going thumb, middle, index, and then we hammer onto this E, Same thing. Then it ascends down to the G. So altogether that is. Then. So this is on a G chord, right? So we're descending. This is open B and open G. And then we hammer on. I didn't play that particularly well, but then we hammer on again to start the pattern all over. So slowly. And it really is that. Like if you can get a handle on that, then you're just filling in with these fingers. And then once you get it up to tempo, it just kind of plays itself. Lastly, we're going to be looking at In the Garage. This is probably the most difficult one to play because you have 3 independent voices to manage. You have the bass part, the melody part, and then there's an accompaniment part that's kind of filling things out. I actually recommend learning the melody first because it has this kind of nursery rhyme quality to it. So that sounds like this. If you can just kind of get to the point where you can pick that melody out really confidently, that's going to be like 2/3 of the battle with this song. And just kind of using this open position to your advantage, that'll help get you comfortable with where it sits. Then, next, looking at the bass part. So the chords, if you just pick out the chords, which is another good exercise, just playing G, D, A minor, E, G, D, C, G. And you don't even need to worry about that walk down if you're just going to strum the chords. But just so you can start to hear the harmonic movement. Then looking at it with the bass part is G, D, A minor, E, G, D, C walks down to G. Those two together. Just to be able to do that is takes a lot of work and practice. So spend time just getting that together. Then when you want to add in the accompaniment, here's how you can think of that. So the first thing is it's similar to in the beginning, My Name is Jonas, where it has this inverted picking pattern, thumb, middle, index. So, and there's kind of 2 patterns that they alternate between. So basically, right? And then we're going to the D. So just first, if you just kind of get this feel as an exercise, just practicing this is worthwhile if you're just getting started out with fingerstyle guitar. So once you have that kind of fluid, just get up to the D chord. Now what I want to note about this D chord is instead of using this shape, this voicing for the D, I recommend using this one because this gives you this open use of this open B string, which is in the melody. So it's going to make playing the melody easier. Right? Now, how you can think about that is the root is being played with your pinky on the 5th fret of the A string. And then you just build a triad going back. So that would be 5th fret on the A, 4th fret on the D, 2nd fret on the G string. And then you have an open B. So let's play that all together. Now this is the other pattern. It's still a descending pattern, but and also inverted. But we're going kind of like, we're playing the root and the 5th together. That's those 2 notes. To the 3rd and then to the root by itself. Descend. Now we hit this open B with the middle finger and then we land on a C here with the open A string. Descend, kick into the A. Now on the A, it's the same pattern as the G, the first G chord. It's actually a little different. So this is another thing you can kind of just work on. So I'm going, thumb is playing kind of a low pedal. And then I'm going, it's middle index. Middle index, middle index. So these are kind of walking. And I'm just alternating. The middle finger is alternating between the B string and the E string. The index finger stays on this A note. So all that together. The E. Kind of the same kind of pattern as the A, except I'm moving, my thumb is traveling from the low E to the E up the octave. So now, and then we kind of back, that repeats. Now here, this is kind of tricky. Kind of similar to the D. And then we double up notes with the thumb here. So hopefully that's clear. I don't know, it's kind of a lot to talk through, but I'll just play it slow just so you can hear it again. Sorry. Up the tempo. I just thought I'd take a second to share some stories with the Blue album and reflect on it, because like 2025 was the 30th anniversary of that album, which was like kind of scary. But my first experience with that album, the first memory I have of it is I can remember being in the hallway at my elementary school, and I didn't have MTV, but some of the kids in the class did, and like I remember being in the hallway waiting to go into one of the classrooms, and some of the kids were talking about it and talking about the music video and for Buddy Holly, and thinking back on that's like the music video was the band superimposed playing in an episode of Happy Days, which like I'm kind of just reflecting on it. I'm thinking about like how cool and how like for the time how well done that was, and that kind of made a strong first impression to me. And then obviously like you heard that song on the radio a lot. It got a lot of radio play, and I just remember, or I should say I don't remember anybody, everybody had like strong musical opinions about like, oh, this band sucks or this band's great or whatever. I don't remember anybody ever saying anything bad about that song, that album, or Weezer until later on. But at that time when they kind of first broke, they were like unanimously just embraced by everybody, it seemed. And so I remember my older brother got the album at some point, and I just remember looking at the artwork, or almost lack thereof, because it's so minimalist, and they just seem so unassuming. I mean, it looked like guys that you would find working at a local supermarket, and it was kind of in contrast to a lot of what was around at that time. And so it left a strong impression in that way as well. And then like later on, the drum parts were like very accessible. And so I remember like that was an album that I played to a lot when I was first learning to play the drums, because it was something that was very gratifying to play, but it was very attainable and approachable. And then later on, when I started learning to play bass, that was another, I went right back to the Blue album and also to Pinkerton, but the Blue album, because I think the Blue album's a little bit easier to kind of wrap your mind around sonically and harmonically. But Matt Sharp's voice in that band, not just his vocals, but his playing, was something that really I was able to latch onto to kind of model my bass playing after, or just had a function as a bass player in a group. And then after that, I'm just trying to think. There's like another. Oh yeah. So like, why did I decide I wanted to do this video? because I remember being like 18 or 19 and at a house party, like some kid around that I knew from around was having a house party, and so it was tons of kids there, and whatever was going on. And then there was a kid sitting in the kitchen with an acoustic guitar, and he was playing some of these finger picking patterns. And I just remember like being in the living room and overhearing him playing it and being like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to be able to play those things. And so I just started learning them. And that was the beginning of how I got into fingerstyle guitar. Not that I'm like a super accomplished fingerstyle guitar player, but that was the beginning of it. And so, I don't know, I'd love to hear your experiences with the Blue Album, with fingerstyle guitar, any of the above. And if you're interested in checking out more tutorials, more music production videos and whatever, you can check out one of these videos that's on the screen right now. And thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again in the future.